welcome everybody. Let's start the meeting. If you all can switch off your phones or turn the volume switch down so that it won't distract the other speakers. By that, I would like to invite Sheila, our president, to start the meeting.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome, fellow Toastmasters, and very welcome guests. So if you haven't noticed, we have a nice handful of guests from our neighboring building, and I'd like for each of them to take up a moment just to introduce themselves. We'll start on the side.
Hi, my name is Terry Speakers. I'm fairly new to Toastmasters. I still have to do my icebreaker speech. So,
wonderful.
Welcome.
Hey guys, my name's Eric. I joined probably about 6 months ago as well. It's been a fast 6 months, been about 4 speeches in and looking to finish this year, hopefully.
Hi, my name is Angela. I joined in April and I'm on speech number 8. Thank you.
My name is David Teja. I've been in Toastmaster over a year, but I still need to improve a lot of speaking skills, so that's why I'm here. Thank you.
My name's Alex Perlo. I started a club in 2010, so it's been 5 years almost.
Yeah.
I did my 10 speeches in like 2.5 years. It took me a while, but I managed to finish at the end.
Congratulations.
I'm Rael Paquette. I'm also one of the founding members of our club. We've been running for 5 years. I'm also one of your guest speakers today, so I'm going to have some fun with you in my pulpit.
Wonderful.
Hi everyone, I'm Rose Maharmano. I'm the president of EMC Masters, and thank you for having us today. I've been in the club for less than a year.
Wonderful. And we have another guest. I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Hi everyone, I'm Josh.
Are you with EMC as well? Or
No,
are you
no,
here?
Josh.
Okay, welcome. So I'm assuming that all of our guests besides Josh are from EMC?
Yes.
EMC Club. Wow, it's so wonderful to have you guys here to support your colleagues. So to continue, because we do have a packed agenda with 3 speakers, one of them being a guest speaker, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our Toastmaster for today. Our Toastmaster for today has been very impressive since joining our club. He readily comes up, he gave his icebreaker so quickly, and now he's serving as Toastmaster for today. The theme, open-minded versus opinionated. After speaking with him about why he chose this theme, I realized he's a very philosophical and deep thinker, and he'll share more about that with you. Please help me welcome Yaron.
Thank you very much. So let me introduce our general evaluator. So when asking her about the the theme of the day, what would you prefer your friends to be, open-minded or opinionated? So her answer was open-minded, because as friends they are much more collaborative, which I cannot argue with this. Without further ado, let me introduce Sheila, our president.
So I'll be serving as the general evaluator today, and I'd like to go ahead and introduce my team of helpers for today. Our all-counter, Nita, can you introduce yourself and what you'll be doing?
I was holding bells.
Hi. My name is Nita. I will be your R counter today. I will be counting the words like well, so if they are not used appropriately, and they can't be, so I will be counting them. And I will be giving the report at the end of the meeting that who uses how many words, filler words. Thank you.
Thank you. And our grammarian and word of the day, Julie.
Hi, I'm Julie. I'm going to be your grammarian today. As a grammarian, I will be focusing on the language and the usage of the words of all speakers. I will be listening to all of your speech and then noting any incomplete sentences, pronunciation, and grammatical mistakes. And at the end of the meeting, I will give my feedback and report the result to you. And for the word of the day, I posted in 2 places. It's demonstrable. The definition is evident or apparent. The usage question of the sentence is, there's no demonstrable evidence that taking aspirin daily will reduce heart attack. So I will also count how many times you use this word today in your speech.
Thank you. And our timer for today, who will demonstrably tell us how to go about, well, how she'll go about timing.
I'm Aditi. I'll be the timer today. I will look up for how much time you take for your speech. So the speaker 1 gets 4 to 6 minutes for his icebreaker, and speaker 2 would get 5 to 7 minutes, and the speaker 3 would get 3 to 5 minutes. Table topic speakers will get 1 to 2 minutes, and evaluators will get 2 to 3 minutes. I'll also show this board to signal that you have reached your minimum time, you're good with time, and also when you exceed your time. Thank you.
And as your general evaluator today, I'll be just overseeing how we run the meeting in terms of following protocol and how we do in general as a group. And I'll report back at the end of the meeting. I'd like to bring up our Toastmaster Yaron.
So our first speaker is giving his icebreaker today, but I think we all feel like we know him more than this. For the questions of would you like your friend to be opinionated or or open-minded, he said they are not mutually exclusive. I prefer them to be both. And he said also you need some level of opinion made for some boldness. And I kind of agree with this. And so for his first with the icebreaker, the topic, I am a failure, which I'm sure is not. Carrier, please. Marcellus.
Well, my name is Marcellus, and I am a failure. You see, it would be really easy to give an icebreaker and talk about my many successes, my accomplishments, and my wonderful time on the planet, but that's the easy way. I'd rather start by doing something a little bit unconventional and talk to you about ways where I kind of haven't maybe run into as good of a time. Now, I have enough time for maybe 1 or 2 examples, but I'm going to start with one failure example of how I am a failure, which I think you're going to really, I hope, like. But it basically has to do with this. I'm a failure at foreign languages. I am absolutely worse at this stuff. Because, you see, I've been all over the world. I've been to France. I've been to Africa. I've been to Russia. Been to South Korea. And every place I've had to go, I have tried my best to fit in, but I just can't because I struggle with these foreign languages. And I was reminded of this very, 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 so eloquently and demonstrably when I went to Germany, my first time in Germany. I was studying at this school called the von Karman Institute for Fluid Dynamics. And this is a true story, by the way, true story. And the von Karman Institute for Fluid Dynamics is in Belgium, which borders Germany. And we had a long weekend, and my friend Tim says, hey, Mark, you want to come to my town of Leer? He says, in Germany, we're having a big party. So I say, Tim, I'd love to. So I hop in the car with Tim, and we drive over the border into Germany. Now, I'm a little bit nervous because all I know about Germans is that they're the bad guys in every single war movie I've ever seen. So we get on the car, and we head over there. And as we're driving over there, I say, Tim, is this the Autobahn? And he says, of course, every highway in Germany is the Autobahn. I said, Tim, can I drive your car? I've always wanted to drive on the Autobahn, like in those car commercials. And Tim says, I don't know, you don't know our language. You can't read the signs, it might be dangerous. So Tim, please, let me. So Tim allows me to drive, and I'm driving down the Autobahn. I'm speeding down a raging 100 kilometers per hour. And as I'm zooming down, I see these signs that says, Köln, Germany. And one sign says Munich, Germany. And one sign says Dusseldorf. And then I pass by this other sign that says Ausfahrt. And if any of you know German, please keep quiet. So I pass by a sign that says Ausfahrt. It goes right there. Then I'm driving down some more, and I pass by another sign. I said, points to that Ausfahrt place. I keep driving down, then I see a third sign in a row. It says Ausfahrt. And I was like, okay, something's weird going on. I keep passing by this same sign, going to the same place. I'm driving in circles. By about the 6th Ausfahrt, I say, Tim, help me, I'm in a loop on your Autobahn. What am I doing wrong? We keep passing by this place called Ausfahrt. And Tim says, you silly American. Ausfahrt means exit. So we kept on driving to go into the auto. And finally, as we were driving, I said, Tim, you know, we're going to a party with your friends. I want to meet some ladies. And I said, Tim, you got to teach me the lines that I need in order to meet the ladies. And there's one line, Tim, because take it from me, I know. There's one line you have to tell every lady to make her really like you. You have to say, you have pretty eyes. So I asked Tim to tell me that line in German. And he said, okay, it's du hast schöne Augen. Okay, du hast schöne Augen. All right. So I'm driving, schöne Augen, schöne Augen. We finally get there several hours later. We go to a bar, all of Tim's friends are there, and some of them are quite lovely. And then Tim says, tell him your line. You have something to say, friends, listen up. So I get up there, all cool and confident, and I say, du hast schöne Augen. And they all laugh. They just all start laughing hilariously. And I look at Tim, and I say, Tim, did I do okay? And Tim looked at me, and he came and says, they are laughing at you. I said, what did I do wrong? And finally, one of his drunk friends comes up to me and puts his arm around me, and he said, you said, du hast schöne Augen. Augen is a man's name. It's like saying you have a pretty willy. Needless to say, I never met any Frauleins that night. But quite a lot of dudes came up to me and said, so you think I have a pretty Augens? And that is why I'm a failure at foreign languages. Now, if I had more time, I would go into some other areas where I'm a huge failure. I'm a failure at being a parent, because not with my current son, who's brilliant, but my first pseudo-son, Walter, those of you who know him, raised Walter when he was a 12-year-old child when we were college roommates up in UC Davis. And I taught Walter such great values when I was his surrogate parent, because you see, Walter was this little boy who came from El Salvador. He spoke no English. And I was there as his parent when I was a 19-year-old kid. He was 10 at the time. And I taught Walter such great values, such as, if we're having a party, Walter, this is how you tap the keg. And I said, Walter, your brother says I can't buy you candy, but if you give me this girl's number, I'll buy you candy in the world. And before I know it, Walter has picked up horrible values. He now thinks that he gets bad junk food by telling me bad things, or great things, and picking up the prettiest girls in the world. It's horrible. So I told Walter, who's now a wonderful person, an excellent grown-up, I said, Walter, I'm so glad you turned out so good, because my failure as a parent could have nearly ruined you. And it could have cost you thousands of months of therapy. But luckily, he's a well-adjusted man living in San Francisco. But he does often beg me for candy when he gives me a girl's phone number. So, now that I have to wrap up and adjourn my speech, I would just like to say, there are many ways that we can always talk about ourselves and introduce ourselves. I chose this way because by becoming a failure, by showing that I am a failure, and hopefully you see that it makes me more accessible, and make me demonstrably more accessible, in fact, because we all have our little failures in some ways. And as you see, I'm just a regular person who struggles like everyone else, and that's what I am. So thank you for having me speak.
So please take the time to 1 minute for writing feedback from us. So the reason that I chose the theme opinionated versus open-minded is I think it's because of my daughters, because they are teenagers and they are always arguing with me and think that I'm a dinosaur. But there are some things that I think, like clearly, which to be opinionated is much better. For example, if you say, well, let's open the discussion, is it okay to rape women? I would say, no, I'm opinionated. I don't want even to start. Try to understand someone why he wants to do it or something. So it's like, I don't want to be open-minded in some areas. But I guess when people say open-minded, probably they're asking for they're looking for the receiving mode. You are open to listen, which open to listen is good. But if you, after listening, think you have an opinion, just say that's my look. So the next speaker is already on her 7th speech, and for asking her about opinionated versus open-minded friends, said, I personally believe in open mind. We benefit the most when we are open-minded. I agree, when you're listening is open-minded. We get to understand situation, learn more, and definitely develop relationship in that approach. So please let me introduce Anjana with her speech. How to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's. Thank you, Anjana.
Every 67 seconds, someone in the United States develops Alzheimer's. It is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. More than 5 million Americans are living with this disease, and 2/3 are women. It is really shocking when you hear these numbers. Sugar Ray Robinson, often hailed as the greatest boxer ever, died of Alzheimer's. Ronald Reagan, 40th President of the United States, an actor and politician, died of Alzheimer's. We all know at least one person who's been victim of this disease. Good afternoon, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today I would like to talk about how we can reduce our risk to Alzheimer's and maybe protect our brain from this disease by keeping our brain healthy and active. First of all, let me tell you what Alzheimer's is. It is an irreversible, progressive brain disease that slowly destroys memory and thinking skills, eventually even the ability to carry out the most simplest tasks. In people with Alzheimer's, the first symptoms they started to observe after the age of 65. With disease as such, it is very important to lead a healthy, balanced life. For many years, we have been told that there's nothing or little we can do to prevent Alzheimer's. But wait for the best and expect a pharmaceutical cure for this disease. Recent research and studies have proved that by leading a brain-healthy lifestyle, we may be able to prevent Alzheimer's. Today, I will talk about 3 pillars for a brain-healthy lifestyle. Just like our body, our brain health also depends upon various factors. And the 3 pillars that I'm going to talk about is, first, physical health. Second is the mental health. And third is the emotional health. Let us talk about how we can improve on each of these. When some factors such as genes is out of our control, some powerful lifestyle factors are definitely in our sphere of influence. Talking about physical health, it mainly depends upon healthy diet and regular exercise. Regular exercise, we all know we have to get to it. Recent research on Alzheimer's Foundation and prevention has proved that people who have regular exercise and include in physical activities reduce the risk to Alzheimer's by 50%. In most cases, people who have been very alienated and lead a very sedentary life have the higher chance of getting Alzheimer's. Try to include 30 minutes of daily exercise on a regular basis. Balancing and coordination exercises such as yoga and even balancing disc exercises can help promote brain health. Try to include healthy diet by including nuts, healthy oils such as olive oil and coconut oil. Always try to have whole grains. Include fresh, abundant produce such as fruits and vegetables in your diet. A square of dark chocolate with antioxidants can be very beneficial. Always ensure to eat at regular intervals. Avoid high refined carbohydrates with high sugar and white flour. Avoid trans fats and saturated fats that could be risking, and these are processed and packaged foods. By skipping this, you can definitely get rid of trans fats and saturated fats from your diet. Secondly is mental health. Mental health can be improved by mental stimulation and quality sleep. Research shows that people who involve in learning new things throughout their life are more or less likely to develop Alzheimer's disease. Try to boost your brain by including interesting tasks in your life. Try to solve puzzles, read new books, getting introduced to new riddles and solving them. Try to get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep every single night. Sleep deprivation not only makes you tired, but impairs your thinking capability. Your body and brain needs restful sleep every single day in order to perform at its optimal best. Have a regular sleep schedule. Try to maintain it and stick to it. Last but not the least is emotional health, which mainly depends upon stress management and happy social life. Stress that is chronic and very severe can take a toll on your brain, and it could impair your thinking capability. Stress can take over you, and before you know it, you are under pressure. Stress is something that you want to keep away from your life. You can do that by including some interesting things in your daily routine. Make it a daily task. Try to do something which will keep you away from your stress and give time to relax and rejuvenate. There are some tips or things that we can do on a regular basis so that we can relieve stress from our body. Regular meditation, such as yoga, can also help, and keeping yourself in calm, cool place, that also helps. When you want to have a happy social life, surround yourself with people who bring positivity and motivate you. Try to keep away from negativity and people who bring you down and add stress to your life. By adding some little things that you can do with your family as a regular routine, it could be as simple as going for a walk or reading a book together, can help a lot. Simple few minutes of sharing and caring can make your bonds stronger. By strengthening these 3 pillars of your life on a daily basis, you will be able to make your brain healthy and you're physically fit, which will reduce the risk to Alzheimer's. There is no 100% demonstrable evidence for this. However, I think we should do what is best for us and what we can do for our good. By leading a brain healthy lifestyle, we can all make our brains stronger and make it work longer. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. So please take a minute to write your feedback to Angela. Our next speaker is a guest from the EMC Club. He won the total competition and he's going to do it here. Let's welcome Rian. Oh, the name of the speech is 50 Shades of Aura.
Hello, fellow Toastmasters. Yes, I was born with a special gift. The ability to read auras. My third eye has been opened. Hence the 50 Shades of Aura. Now don't get this mixed up with the 50 Shades of Gray, which is the reading of animal behaviors. Not the same thing. I read people. And the way I do this is, I get in touch with the spirit world. And in the spirit world, I call upon some assistants to take embodiment of my body and give readings to different people. Unfortunately, due to time constraint, I cannot perform individual readings with all of you. If you want to see me afterwards, additional costs, this can be arranged. Business cards will be left at the door. So what I'm going to do today is give you an idea how different shades of color can set the mood, and I can actually see the future. But I'm going to need help from the spirit world to do this. And I have a special connection with the spirit world, and I have 3 special guests waiting to come in, take me over, and do these readings for you. Without further ado, let me get guest number 1. Mr. Scott, you're needed on the bridge. Please beam in. Hi, Captain, here I am. Here at the wonderful building of Intel. Not that bloody AMD. I can tell immediately there is a nice blue aura in the room. And from this blue aura, I get some positive energy. And my prediction, unfortunately, has to be random, but one of you, or someone you know in this building, who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, is guaranteed to work a long life here at Intel and will never join AMD. And this is your first prediction. I will now call upon the next honored guest. Dr. McCoy, please join us on the bridge. Where am I? Oh my God, Jim, what did you do? You sent me here to Intel. I'm a bloody physician, not a fortune teller. You just sat me down in a high-stake game of poker and you're asking me to bluff. Not possible. Well, since I'm on the spirit side, I do see a pink aura in the room. And I can tell that someone in this room, or someone that you know, who knows someone in this room, may be expecting a baby. Maybe 2 babies. Maybe 4 babies. Maybe 8 babies. Wait a minute, I'm getting this confused. I'm feeling that I'm not seeing the core issue here. I think the core issue here is Intel is expecting to deliver a new CPU process. Oh my God. Not to blow the future away from you, but the physical materials used today will be replaced with cellular generations of memory. There will be no more need to use physical material. So good luck with this next chip release, which I believe will be announced this summer. All right. Next guest. Mr. Spock, you're needed on the bridge. Unfortunately, I cannot tell a lie. I will have to be truthful with each and one of you. But we'll have to first compete for the truth. How many of you are familiar with the task of rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock? All right, let's do this together now. Put your fist up. Put your fist up. On 3, you know the science is, rock, paper, scissors, lizard, and of course Spock. I will answer truthfully for one of the symbols you choose. 1, 2, 3. Okay, everybody who has Spock, I can tell you the following information. You will live long and you will prosper. And besides that, the only other thing I can tell you is good luck. I must now depart. I'm fully drained from having spirits embody my body, and I will no longer be demonstrating any more of these readings because I believe my time has come to an end. Thank you.
Thank you, Real. Please take a minute to write anything for Real.
Scotty.
Thank you. So let me call our topic Toastmasters, but just before, for the answer about open-minded or opinionated, he has like mixed answer. He likes generally open-minded people, but if he finds opinionated discussions or debates very fun, a lot of fun with this, and you learn a lot through this. And also, even now when his friend opinionated on him, he used to be upset, but now he's trying hardly to make it like a learning process for himself and to become stronger. So let me introduce our topic, table master, Leo.
My name is Leo. I'm the tabletop master of today. I'm glad that the meeting proceeds very smoothly. So I got some extra time than planned. I was worried about that time's too short. So for the table topics, usually we choose a theme, then have questions. And the big questions ask the audience to one of the members to come up and make a spontaneous speech of 1 to 2 minutes. And I consider this the most fun part of the meeting. So for today's theme, for the table topic, I kind of piggyback what Yoram has chosen, open-minded versus opinionated. I consider this is a very interesting subject because this is a life attitude which could have more impact than every of us may have realized. Especially for the people, like say, who were born in the foreign countries, that's in the EU, a lot of us, right? So, and we were raised in a foreign country where the values and faith beliefs are quite different from what we have seen here since we come here. And it's so important, we need to really think about that. So I have a bunch of questions in this area, so let's start. First question, what does open-minded mean to you? What does opinionated mean to you? How did you assess yourself in terms of open-mindedness and opinionedness in a few areas of your life? Give examples. This question is what in my mind is sometimes it's very hard to look at yourself. How did you assess yourself? Are you an open-minded person or an opinionated person? So I'd like to maybe ask Joe to come up. Did you understand the question?
I was actually doing an evaluation, so it was like, I didn't expect to go on. So for me, open-mindedness just means you're able to take in what other people are saying, and you're able to read articles and take elements of the article that could add to your thought process. Being closed-minded means that you start to block off certain information. So I actually answered to be more open-minded, but in reality, sometimes you get to science and you kind of have to block out some information, but accept other information. But then again, you get to scientific journals where they're more on the opinionated side. It gets to be a pain in the butt if you want to submit a paper. Now that's pretty. Yeah, I'm more on the scientific side. I like to be mostly on the open-minded side. I'm actually hiring a vocal coach in order to help me with my singing. That's one of the ways I want to be open-minded. And basically, the vocal coach is coming back from Europe, from the English National Opera, so she pretty much outranks me in terms of singing. But that's pretty much it. As far as ours.
Thanks, Joe. My second question is, in your opinions, what are good ways to cultivate an open mind? That is, to let yourself become open-minded. So what are the good ways, in your opinion, we can make ourselves to be open-minded? Let me call one of our guests. Sorry, I couldn't.
Alan.
I won't have much to talk about. I would open-mindedness. What gave me an open mind is after I got married, things changed. I used to be quite close-minded in terms of like not trying things out. I don't try to I would go to the same restaurant every time. I would eat the same food every time. I would go to the same place every time. But after I got married, my wife says, "Hey, you can't be like that." So to answer your question, some people are being forced to be open-minded. My wife says, "Be open-minded. Try new things. Gonna try this dish. Gonna try that dish. Go to certain countries and go visit and have fun in your life. If you live a closed-minded life, you'll miss out on a lot of stuff." So that's what it is. Thank you.
So that's a good way, I think, just like Anjana mentioned, to be associated with positive people, then you can learn. Yeah. All right. My next question is on the other side. So we talked two questions. I think we still have two. I'd like to ask about a question regarding like opinion to people. So I'm sure you will have people around you who are open-minded, and also very likely you will have people around you who are opinionated in your personal life or at work. So what is your advice to deal with opinion people? Let's see. Craig, would you like to come up, please?
So I guess all of us, know someone who is very opinionated. So I think from my point of view, the best way to deal with opinionated people is for yourself to be a little open-minded. So you know that they're opinionated. So I think empathy, looking at things from their point of view, why they are opinionated on this subject, try to understand their way of thinking. I think that's very important to dealing with people who are opinionated. So if you see someone who doesn't agree with you and very opinionated on a subject that you kind of feel strongly about, then you might feel badly about that person. But they could be opinionated for a reason. So I think it's best to try and understand, talk to them to understand the reason why they're opinionated, and be open-minded yourself about their strong opinions. So that's how I deal with someone who's opinionated.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's really one of the best ways to deal with people you may not like very much, is to develop yourself and grow yourself and to be a positive example for people around you, and they will follow you. Looks like we are right on time, so please vote on. Do we vote? Yeah, okay, so let me repeat the speakers. First is Joe. So he talked about what does it mean to be open-minded and opinionated. And second is Alex, our guest. So how can we calculate ourselves to be open-minded? And the third is Craig. He gave us opinions to see how can we deal with opinion people around us.
Could you repeat that?
First is Joe. Second, Alex. Craig, are you like I here?
No. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, Craig is P-A-R-A-G. P-A-R-A-G.
Do we just fill out our first pick, or do we leave second and most improved blank?
Just the first.
We vote just for one.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you very much. So as you vote, let's give the control back to our general evaluator. Thank you.
So go ahead and put your vote in the basket as Anjana collects the ballots. We've reached the evaluation portion of our meeting, and for our first two speakers, we have evaluators. For Marcellus's icebreaker, we have evaluator 1. Please help me bring up Ramesh.
Today's theme is open-minded versus opinionated. So open-minded means we should be open-minded with the subordinates. That means if they are lacking with some skills or they are stuck, try to explain them, give them more knowledge so that they can work better. But when we are working with the top level, just be opinionated. That means give the only positive feedback to the upper level and the good feedback to the lower level. I always believe that the lower level, if the lower level team is very strong, you will be very strong. today I got very tough job of evaluating the person, Marcus, who is from whom I got the inspiration. He is the best in mixing up any speech. Take any speech, mixing up the speech with the humor with several topics. He won't focus on a particular topic, but he can go on speech with a world tour and make the speech is more humorous. The speech title is "I'm a Failure." The speech title attracts the audience. So people will start thinking about the speech title itself. So what is going to talk? So that is very attractive. So and he know how to add the humor to the speech. Speech has a good title, and speech has a good beginning, body, and closing. He didn't use any notes for his first speech. That is very good. He's very well prepared for the speech. He is very clear and audible even to the people at the back of the meeting. But only thing you can work on is the body movements. He still stand around, just he can move around or speak like that. The best part of the presentation which I like is you have pretty eyes. Let's see what happens. And I love the humor in your speeches. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramesh. For our second speaker, Anjana, we have evaluator 2. Please help me welcome up Joe Plant.
One thing I hate about evaluations, I think Stephen Colbert said it best. Once you put a camera on somebody, it's like giving them a lobotomy, and that's exactly how I feel when I give a speech. For her speech, I did like the fact that she just started out with this dose of reality, saying how many people are affected by it, and actually I don't know how many people are in the U.S. I also like that she gave us a lot of ideas and a lot of life lessons. One area I think she could have improved is citing more of the sources, saying that I really should have wrote down what she was saying, but saying that this clinic has said that eating better will lower the chances of Alzheimer's. She could also improve on the eye contact. I also have this same problem. I'm getting nervous and I don't want to look people in the eye. She was going across the room quite quickly. However, one of the best things that she was doing is she actually wanted to be recorded, and that's very admirable, because you hear a lot of coaches, voice, music, they say you got to go in front of a mirror, you got to record yourself if you want to get better. She had very good phrasing and very good volume. Quite a few people in this club actually have a hard time speaking loudly, and it gets kind of soft and kind of buried in the room. And it shows that you've been doing a lot of good research. So thanks for speaking, and thanks for being at Speech 7, fellow Toastmasters.
Thank you both to our evaluators for providing this feedback. And although we didn't have a dedicated evaluator for Rial, I hope everybody took the time to provide some feedback on a sheet of paper so that he can take that with him. So we're coming to the close of our meeting. I'd like to go ahead and get the helper reports. The first helper report I'd like to hear from is Timer. Can you please share?
The icebreaker Marcellus, he was little over time by 38 seconds, so 6 minutes, 38 seconds. Speaker 2 was daughter time, 7 minutes. That is Anjana Bachu. Speaker 3 was little over time by 1 minute, 16 seconds. So it went up to 6 minutes, 16 seconds. And table topics, Joe spoke for 1 minute, 15 seconds. Our guest speaker, I'm sorry, I missed him. Alex, yeah, sorry. Alex spoke just a little short of 1 minute, 56 seconds you spoke for. And Barack spoke for 1 minute. Evaluators were good with time. Ramesh spoke for 2 minutes, 24 seconds, and Joe for 1 minute, 40 seconds.
Thank you. Can we go ahead and hear from our R counter?
So Shara, you use one R and one repeated word and one time, and here on you have more than 7 and 4 so's, 1 like, and 1 double clutch word which is next. And Julie, you had 1 and you used and 2 times. Aditi, you have 5 2 so's, 1 like, Marcellus, you have 1 that's it. But I saw that you're using repeated word like thank you, let me, true story.
That's true.
Anjana, you had 4 and when you are, you repeated it twice. Guest speaker Ral, you had nothing, but the only thing is when you are transitioning from one person to another, you are using
That's part of the
I know. So, Leo, you have more than 7 ums, 5 so's, 1 like, and you repeatedly use I like that. Joe, you had 4 1 but, 1 like, and you also used RR eating. Guess Alex, you used 2 1 so, and you also use is 2 times. Parag, 2 4 so's, 5 likes, I think. Ramesh, 3 and that, back to the. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Very thorough report. And our final helper, Julie, can you share with the grammarian?
Yeah. So let me first do a report on the usage of the word of the day. So Sheila, I noticed you used it once at the beginning of the opening. Yarn, I didn't get anything from you. Marcellus, you used it twice. I recognize that. And Anjana, I heard it once. And Riel, you used it at the very end of your speech. So thank you. In regards to in regards to your speech and the grammar use of the language, for Yarn, I couldn't pinpoint because I guess you were nervous at some point to complete the sentence, and so I kind of lost you there. So for example, when you're introducing Leo, you said something about finding opinionate fun with thing, and then I wasn't sure what you're trying to say. So I thought maybe you're trying to say that you find opinion to be fun or interesting or something, so that's my guess. So that's just one example I want to bring up. And then the other one I wrote down is right when you talked about giving people time to write feedback to Anjana, I thought you should say for Anjana. So that was the second thing that I caught. And then come to the 3 speakers, I thought you guys were really good. It's really difficult for me. One is because your topics and the speech was so good that I kind of lost for a moment that I'm doing a role of grammarian today. But I tried really hard to catch them, and I did catch one from Marcellus. Really difficult, but he said, when you were referencing your pseudo-son, you were saying he speaks no English, so I thought you could say he didn't speak any English. I guess you were referring to, something. Right. And then for Riel, I couldn't find anything, and Anjana, I couldn't find anything, any grammarian mistakes on your end. And then for Ramesh, when you were giving, or actually let me go back to Parag for table topic. So at the end you said dealing with strong opinion. So I guess you want to say is deal with people with strong opinion is what you're trying to conclude. Ramesh, when first thing you said was he was the best in mixing topics. I thought you were going to say he's really good with mixing topics or something. And then when you give him all the positive feedback, you want to give him something he can improve on, and you said only thing is body movement. So I thought I could just be direct and say one area you can improve on is body movement. So at least you get the message. For Joe, when you give feedback to Ranjana, you said a dose of reality. I get what you're saying, but I thought it would be more strong, more powerful if you say providing the statistics of Alzheimer. And then at the end you said thanks for speaking. I thought you could just say, well, thanks for the great speech or something to kind of end it in a positive note. So that's all I got for today.
Thank you. Very thorough reports. And to keep us on track, I'll be concise with my overall evaluation. I noticed it was the chairs didn't get delivered today for whatever reason, so I appreciate they're outside, but it came after the meeting. But I appreciate everybody's flexibility with just sitting on the floor and not disrupting the meeting, so thank you. Secondly, I thought you did an excellent job, Leo, describing what table topics was for the different guests who were here. You were very thorough. We had some very philosophical speakers up here. The one thing I would really like to encourage everybody to continue to do is you own this space and you should not leave it until the next person has come up and shook your hand. Because in Toastmasters, that's just the rule. You do not leave the podium alone. So we've been doing much better with that, and I think at times we just forget, so I just want to encourage you to do that. Also, as a speaker comes up, I know it may take a while, but continue to clap your hands just so they feel the positive energy of getting them up in front of the room so that they feel encouraged. And then lastly, for the evaluations, I just want to reiterate something Rita Barber, our former area governor, has shared, that when you're up here evaluating, that time really should be focused on the actual project in the book. I know it's really easy to want to talk about other things. And so for example, for Marcellus, because it was his icebreaker, I probably may not have judged him or mentioned anything that wasn't really geared towards the icebreaker, just so that they don't feel encouraged, because there's specific goals for each of the projects as they move through the project book. So for myself, that was it. I thought it was a great meeting, and I will bring back up our Toastmaster.
So thank you very much, all of you, to keep on track. And now, Leo, can you please announce the topic of Master winner?
For our guests, our tradition is that we all vote only for one of the speakers for the table topics. And today's winner is our guest, Alex.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's call our president, Sheila, to close the meeting.
Thank you. Wonderful job, Yaron. Thank you for representing the community. So we only have a couple minutes left before 1, and I wanted to quickly get our feedback from our guests, what they thought about today's meeting. And Terry, can we start with you?
Very good. Very detailed. I was surprised at some of the things that were happening, how the table topics master just pick people. We do things a little differently, so, but we're open-minded. These new processes, so and they are some very good demonstrable processes. Thank you.
Thank you. And Eric, do you want to share anything?
I think I just repeat some of the stuff that Terry said. It was a lot more to the book, and I think that, I think that's a good thing in a lot of ways. I think we can take some of those practices back to our chapters and stuff like that. But very well run. Very well run.
Thank you. And Angela.
Similar points, and there are a few things that we'll take back to our club. The thing I like the most is you start on time and finish dead on time. Nothing was out of place. It was very detailed, but that's actually good for people who are taking out a lunch break or coming out of a meeting. So yeah, I mean, we pretty much do the same thing, but this was very on point. So
thank you.
Well done for that.
Thank you. And David.
Yes, I have similar points, and very, very detailed and structured, I would say, compared to what our what our meeting are. And also one thing I noticed here, each meeting you guys come up with a title, open-minded versus opinionated, something like that. That we don't have that one, so maybe something that we can apply to.
Yeah.
And I like the way the overall people how they evaluate, how they say it. It's just amazing.
Thank you. Thanks for that feedback. And then Alex.
We're stealing this. And Rael and I already talked about it, so. Yeah, great meeting. Evaluation portion, you guys are tough. So I don't know, maybe my suggestion is to maybe lessen up a little bit in terms of the counters. Our counters, we stop at 5. Stop at 5+, and we kind of we don't want to count anymore there. Because I think it's kind of discouraging to take 25 or 7 or 8. Something like that can be something that you can encourage people to move on. More encouragement for the team, basically.
Thanks for that. And Rian.
Well, this is a great club. You guys are off to a good start as a new club. You're very organized. We're a little bit more open-minded with our structure. Free form. It does cause interruptions and time delays. Thank you, Angela, for saying that. We'll have to bring that up at our next meeting. But no, lots of fun, lots of good ideas, lots of energy here. I like it.
Oh, great. Thank you for that. And then finally, Rose.
Thanks for having us again. It's a great meeting that you have here, great people that you have here. Definitely, but I like this format here because you get to face each other and have that. We have the classroom environment, and I would prefer something similar to this. I think we just recently changed that to this somewhat format. So I like that.
So I actually do want to have you just introduce yourself. You came in towards the end or in the middle as a guest. Are you here as an invited guest?
I'm here to support myself.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to get your feedback first before I at least share my feedback. Yeah, this is a super new club. There's 3 of us here on site, 3 clubs for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And there is a little more structure. And I realize as any of our members go out to other clubs, you'll find that they are run a little differently. Every club has its own flavor and style of how they do things. So it was just interesting to hear the feedback on maybe what we could do better and what we're doing well. And because people are so new, they may not know I should stop at 25 ums. But it's also an awareness factor of realizing, oh my gosh, I said 25 ums. Some people don't even realize that. So I see it as a mixed bag or blessing, however you want to take it. So we're still trying to figure things out, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. And yes, people need this room, so it's hard to maintain it for very long. I don't see anybody waiting right now, but that's kind of why we do the start on time and finish on time. So thank you all. Was there anything our guests or anybody wanted to share before I adjourn?
I do want to invite, if you are interested in joining us every Thursday from 12 to 1, we're right next door. Feel free to contact me or anyone in my team. Sheila has the phone number or email, and we love to have guests anytime.
Thank you. Thank you. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.